Fat Dag is a Weight Watchers leader in Indianapolis, Indiana. However, the views and opinions expressed during this podcast are his own. They do not represent the views of Weight Watchers. And now, here's your host and wingman, Fat Dag.
Cheers. I am your host, Fat Dag. You're listening to Wise Advice. My weight loss journey failed when I focused on how. It wasn't until I switched my focus to why that I truly transformed myself. You can join the show on the web at fatdag.com and follow along on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube, all at Wise Advice. Send in your comments, your questions, your celebrations. I'll include them as part of the show. But before we dive in, remember, when you're out of points, stop eating points. Hey, I'm honored to be your wingman as we walk through this journey together because I believe in you. Well, hello there. Welcome to episode 249. And I got some breaking news. I haven't even shared this with the live audience yet. I can't believe we got so flustered before the show with some computer issues that I forgot to totally mention this. But I have officially confirmed 100% that I will be in Indianapolis for the Indy Ultimate on June 29th. So that seemed to be the highlight of all the events we did last year. That was kind of the most popular, the most favorite, because it was a unique venue. So I have confirmed I will be here for June 29th for sure. If you're coming in from out of town, I would recommend you get here Friday morning, no later than noon. And we'll talk about that later. But those are my recommendations, and we'll have to figure out what that means to all of you. But if you're coming into town for the Indy Ultimate into Indianapolis, the race is Saturday morning at 8:30 is the time slot that we've signed up for, part of the international tour. It's the Indianapolis stop on June 29th. Come into town on Friday. Get here before noon. Let's just leave it at that. And more details will be coming. I don't know what's going to happen afternoon. I don't know. We'll have to figure that out. But that's what's going on. Thanks for being here. For those of you just joining us on the show for the very first time, go to your app store, get the Wise Advice app, leave a review while you're there. Certainly appreciate that. You can find the show on iTunes. You can find it on Stitcher Radio. You can find it on iHeartRadio. Soon coming on to Pandora. So we're on Spotify currently, so wherever you consume audio content is where this show should be found. But I personally like it in the app. I think the app is just a great opportunity for you to just have the show at your leisure. So thank you for doing that. Thanks for all the kind words. Let's dive right into this. We got 4 great emails for this show. The first one comes in from Carol, and Carol writes in. She says, "Hi, my name is Carol. I'm writing you my story. This is one of the hardest things for me to write. I'm not a good writer. My grammar isn't the greatest, but here goes. I lost my father and my mother very young. My father passed at the age of 52 from cancer, and my mother at 54 from her stomach being stapled. It bristled. At one time, she was 400 pounds. At that time, I was pregnant with my first daughter. A year and a half later, I had my second daughter. I went up to 255 pounds. September 2015, at that time I joined Weight Watchers, and at the point I didn't know how many times it was before, but I knew that I didn't want to be my mother. I lost 75 pounds in a year and a half. I became a lifetime member. I stayed at goal for 10 months, and I became complacent. I went on 2 vacations. I put all the weight back on, which brings me to today. In September of 2018, I went back to WW. I was fighting at the time, more or less. I was mad at myself for gaining it all back. I started listening to you, Mike, the Wise Advice podcast. You changed my life. I started to lose weight, and so far I've lost 20 pounds. But this time it's different. I actually know that I'm going to lose it again. I remember the feeling I had when I hit goal, and I will get it back when I'm there. I believe I'm going to do this. Like you said, I believe in you. I believe in me, and I have the confidence to do it. I feel that I have it. My mindset is so there. I just want to thank you for all that you do. I don't think I would have gotten here today without you and the podcast. In a month, I'm going to Disney, and in the past, I've just enjoyed myself and worried about it when I got back. I don't think that I will do that. I'm going to be mindful. Well, I also walk 2 to 3 miles a day. I feel it's going to be different. Again, thank you, Carol. Carol, thank you for writing in. I understand exactly where you are on this journey, in a sense where, taking the moment to write the words down and actually having to admit them and then reread them on paper is generally a very difficult task for many of us. So I truly thank you for having the courage to send it in to benefit the entire community. You're not the only one going through this, and certainly your words can be comforting and helpful to others. Very, very sorry for the loss of your mom and your father at such a young age, and it's tragic that they were taken from you so young, and it certainly had an impact on your life. And as I've said on this show more than once, one of the best things you can do now to honor them is to continue to live the best version of you. That's what they would want for you. That's what they have always wanted for you. So now you have the opportunity to do that and to honor them many, many years later by taking care of yourself. You start with a tremendous advantage. I love when opportunity exists and people come to the realization that they want to come back to a weight loss program, whether it be WW, whether it be whatever program they had success on. I love when that opportunity presents itself for them to recommit to themselves. The beauty of them recommitting to a program they previously had success on is that confidence level is there where you're confident that you can do it. I saw that you've written it out in your email saying that you actually believe you can do it this time. You feel it. You have your mindset. It's locked in. That is all it takes for the most part. But that's a majority of this effort is to you having to believe that it's possible. When you believe that it's possible, you can accomplish anything. You just have to put your mind to it. You have to set small goals along the way, and then continue to mark those goals off. And those small goals lead to big success. So, Carol, thank you so much for writing in. I think what you've done is amazing. I think you now understand exactly what this journey takes. I think you're at that point now where you go, okay, I'm down 20 pounds. That certainly did not happen by accident. That was you finally committing. That was you finally getting disciplined. That was you finally getting focused, saying, this is the priority in my life. When you make it the priority, your actions support that priority. Everything you do falls in line with what you're trying to accomplish. So you've got your mind locked in, you're focused, you're dialed in, and this trip to Disney in a month, it ain't nothing. You've been there before. You're currently walking 2 to 3 miles a day. So walking around Disney is not going to be a dramatic increase for you. Sure, you'll get more steps there, but it's a different kind of than a 2 or 3 mile walk straight. And you're going there with the mindset of I'm going there to be mindful. The power in those words of you writing it ahead of time and you saying ahead of time, declaring what your vision looks like, declaring what the goal looks like, declaring what you want to feel like when you come back, is what will give you the strength while you're there to find the success. Carol, keep up the amazing work. And I got a little email on the side from someone who knows you, letting me know that your email was coming in. And I want to tell you, you have an amazing support community behind you. And you have the entire Wingman community. The Wise Wingman group is here behind you. We will all rally together to believe in you and to get you to wherever you want to be. Congrats on your 20-pound loss. I agree with you. This time is different, and you know that you're going to lose it again. That's where the power comes in. That's where the success comes in. It all starts in your mind, and you are clearly there. So, Carol, thanks again for your email. Keep up the amazing work. Very, very proud of you, and thanks for, again, the courage to take it and take a moment to write it down and getting it shared. That's an incredible additional step in your journey. This next email comes in out of Columbia, Missouri. Jenny joins us. She says, "Hi, my name's Jenny, and I'm from Columbia, Missouri. I joined WW in September 2017 when I was tired of going up and down and finally almost hitting a number I didn't want to ever see. I was a very active tennis player in high school. I always ate fairly healthy. I never really worried about my weight until my competitive tennis days were over and I went to college, of course, gaining the freshman 20 and fighting to get that off for years since. Counting calories has always worked for me, but it just wasn't working as I approached 40 last year. I have 10-year-old triplets. And I gained a lot after my pregnancy, of course, but I was so busy with them, I actually lost all the weight plus 10 more pounds after they were born, counting calories and taking lots of walks with the boys. As they've gotten older, nearly 30 pounds slowly crept back on over the next 5 to 6 years, and I decided enough is enough. I lost 20 pounds fairly quickly on WW, and I've been 3 to 7 pounds from my WW goal to make Lifetime for about a year. I will make it in 2019. I rarely miss a meeting, and I have an amazing leader in a group. I hope to make Lifetime and become a WW coach in the future. My husband, kids, and family and friends all motivate me. I heard about your podcast in my WW meeting, and I started listening as I exercise, and it truly inspires me. I hope to make it to a 5K if one is nearby sometime soon. Thank you for listening and for all that you do to inspire people, Jenny. Jenny, congratulations on your amazing success as well. You clearly have gotten your focus dialed in, and you're 3 to 7 pounds from goal. You're right there. You're at that point in the journey where success is so close you can feel it. And you obviously, there isn't a significant difference in your energy, in your feeling, in your clothing size, 3 to 7 pounds. The significant difference comes from the mindset of you saying, I'm actually done losing weight. And so that's where the power comes in, is when you step on the scale and say, hey, I don't want to lose any more weight. That's where the incredible power and focus comes in, and you're right there. And so what I want you to do is I want you to change a couple keywords in your email. You use the word hope a lot. And I don't believe firmly that hope is a plan. We can rely on hope as a secondary or a tertiary plan, but the primary plan has to be you deliberately doing something to make this happen. You're not going to wake up magically 3 pounds down. You're not going to wake up magically 7 pounds down and all of a sudden be at goal. That's not how this program works. If you want to get there, you actually have to figure out the final few steps of this journey, what's stopping you from doing it, and what kind of results do you want to have. The absolute best news is it's possible. That's the best news there is that you now know this can be done. Now, certainly having triplets in the house, that has to keep your step count going pretty incredible. I cannot even imagine what that feels like or looks like. I can't even pretend to think that I agree. We stopped at just the one child, and I'm exhausted, and Janine does 99.9% of the work. So I can't even imagine having 3 at that point. So very, very awesome there. Go back to your active days as a tennis player, right? So when you think about that period in your time, the amount of activity that you were getting in certainly was able to be compensated by the amount of fuel that you had to feed your body. As that activity decreases, we can't continue on that same fuel pattern. So why that's important is so many of us, when we either ramp up our activity or when we start this journey, we have eating habits that are developed based on an activity level that may or may not persist. So it's very difficult when you start increasing the food intake for whatever reason, whether it be healthy food or if it's a snack habit. When you start increasing that quantity of food, it's very difficult to reel that back in. And so the only way to kind of counteract it is with exercise. And certainly I don't think that is the plan. You can't exercise your way out of this. So it's good to see that you reeled it back in from the food side of it. Counting calories works for you. And then now back to WW. Those two plans together that you're working seem to certainly give you the result that you want. I think the key piece in your email is that the fact that you rarely miss a meeting. You have an amazing leader, an amazing group. That hats off to them for leading you down a path to complete success. But the reality is the amazing leader and the amazing group are going to do well whether you're there or not. If you want to have the success, you have to be a part of that. That's why this community does so well. This community does a fantastic job of just kind of keeping each other motivated and keeping each other on track to make sure that we support each other and that we get each other. So it sounds awesome that your husband, your kids, your family all motivate you. I think part of the reason for your success, besides the amazing work that you put into it, part of the reason for your success is that you have found a way to find people in your life who support you. If we take that message one step further, and over the course of the new year, I see a lot of goals and people talking about social media. And of course, you didn't indicate this in your email, but I'm going to go on a tangent here. Our social media feeds can either detract us or help us. So I would encourage people to look through your social media feeds and find things that are just kind of pushing you out of your journey, and either unfollow or hide or get out of the lane where things that are coming into your purview that don't keep you on track. Follow the accounts that provide the inspiration, the motivation that are going to get you to reach the goal that you want to reach. The reason that is when you first log into your apps, you start seeing some amazing success and some instant motivation, and it quickly snaps you back into, I can do this. So that's my tip for you is to do that if you're not already, but you clearly are doing well. So continue to do everything that you're doing. You've got this. 20 pounds quickly on WW. That's the great success. 3 to 7 pounds to go, and you'll make lifetime. You can do this. 2019 is your year. Thanks a lot for your group for sharing. I certainly appreciate that. By all means, that's how this podcast continues to grow, is by people who think that it's inspirational, find the inspiration and say, yeah, hey, listen to this. It's getting me to where I want to be. So thank you, all of you who do that so much as well. This next email comes in from Katie, and it's just a quick email. It says, Mike, just a quick email to check in. I was the Are You Fat Dagging Me episode. I packed on several pounds, and well, now I'm back at it. You've done so good for so many. Sorry to hear about your father-in-law. Just know that we all surround you with a great big hug, lots of prayers, and wishes for a new year where we achieve our goals. Katie, thank you for that. For one, is we're adjusting. We're getting back to what we consider new normal. And that's the advice I always give, is at some point life will come back to you and you'll start recognizing some routines. When those routines come back, it's time to reattack it. So here you are. I love the fact that you wrote in. I love the fact that you said you packed on several pounds and now you're back at it. If you don't believe that happens to a majority of us, then you're in for a treat when it does, because what happens is this journey takes constant, daily, deliberate focus. There are so many things that can derail us, and I made a blog post many years, not many years ago, a year and a half ago or so, called Managing Obesity. So I believe firmly that I've been diagnosed with a disease called obesity, and I now know what it takes to monitor it. It's no different than being diagnosed with another disease. I have to take steps. I have to plan. I have to medicate myself mentally to make sure that I stay healthy. That's not significantly different from many other diagnoses that you can get. And so if when we get focused on something else and we get in kind of the wrong lane, then sure, the pounds creep back up. And so I've seen countless emails and posts and comments of people who are in the exact same scenario that you're in. The fact that you've written in to ask about it is pretty powerful, because what you've now done is you've taken the shame away from it. You've taken the guilt away from it. You've simply recognized it as a part of the journey for many of us and said, no big deal, but I'm back at it. Folks, that's all we can ask you to do, is just never give up on yourself. Surrounded by a great big hug, surrounded by lots of prayers, surrounded by people who get it, is really, really the truth in this entire journey. So, Katie, thank you so much for sharing that. And, just know that we're here with you, right? And so we'll ask you, are you fat dagging me? Yeah, I'm fat dagging you because you owe it to yourself to take care of you. It doesn't mean you're going to be perfect. It doesn't mean you're going to have all the answers. It means you're going to give it 100% of your effort. By you documenting it, by you writing in, it proves to me that you're ready to do that. And that is where the success comes in. So, Katie, thank you again so much for writing in. Last but not least, for this episode, Kirby writes in. He goes, hey, Mike, just listen to last night's show. At the end, you mentioned nutritional balance. I found myself trending towards 0-point foods and having plenty of points left over each day. I'm not hungry because I eat plenty of chicken, fruit, and the vegetables. What are you doing to achieve a nutritional balance? Very respectfully, Kirby out of Connecticut. Folks, you may recognize Kirby. Kirby does the intro to the actual podcast show. That is his voice at the very, very beginning of every single episode. But Kirby, great to hear from you, for real. Thank you certainly for writing in. But let's talk about this. I wanted to share this because it's a question I get often. The freestyle plan is fantastic, right? It allows people an opportunity to gravitate towards foods that they may not have ever offered before. The foods that you wouldn't have tried, you're now willing to try because we call them 0 point foods. At 10 o'clock at night, you can now grab a chicken breast if you need to. You can grab an apple. You can grab a banana. And so that is the value in this program, is that you have options where you will never find yourself saying, I'm hungry and I cannot eat. That part goes away. The piece that comes back is you have to understand intuitive eating. That's not as easy. You have to get to the point where you recognize and realize that 0 point food still does contain calories. And if your fifth banana for dinner stops you from digging into the bag of cookies, then that's a success. It may not be success in the scale, but it's certainly success in the mindset. We have to treat the mindset right first. If we treat that right first, then everything else falls into line after. So now that I understand the fact that you say you're not hungry because you eat plenty of chicken, fruit, and vegetables, you have to understand and get to a point where you can balance what that looks like and feels like. Finding an opportunity for you to say, I'm content, I'm satisfied. Understanding what that feels like, what that looks like, is going to be different for everybody. And that's the hardest part of this freestyle journey. We're giving you the tools, we're giving you the roadmap, and then we're asking you to internalize all of that and make a decision. Now, if you're clearly eating plenty of chicken and plenty of fruit, plenty of vegetables, and you're getting plenty of 0 point foods, that's not an indicator that you can then use all of your points for junk food late at night. That's kind of the danger. So you can have a 0 point breakfast, a 0 point lunch, and a 0 point dinner, and then which would in some cases give you 25, 35 points for a snack after dinner. Now, certainly we understand that's not a healthy eating pattern, right? But the program certainly could allow for it if you weren't eating intuitively. So that's the piece we got to kind of figure out, and that's an individual journey for every single person. Now, what I'm doing to achieve a nutritional balance is I've gone a step further, and I'm kind of looking at the nutritional values of the food that I'm eating, and I'm trying to find things that maybe I haven't had before, and I'm willing to open myself up to try them. You know, certainly I'm not a champion at this by any stretch, but I started tracking the macros a little deeper and understanding what the difference in the food quality is. I believe that, eating healthy means more than just eating the right amount of calories or eating the right amount of points. I think, you could eat 2,000 calories of chips for the day, and you're eating on a calorie plan. You could eat 23 points of chips per day and eat on plan. It doesn't mean there's nutritional content behind that. So I start looking for things now that provide a little bit different nutritional content, and I'm willing to now open my eyes to at least try things, which before I was never willing to do. And so, yeah, I'm not perfect at it. I'm trying this a plant-based protein shake that's kind of given me some calorie or some nutrients that I was missing before. But I think it comes down to, more than anything, is that mentally I understand what's at stake. Mentally, I get that eating healthy takes care of so much else in the body. Mentally, I understand that I have the opportunity to cure this if I'm willing to put forth the effort and do some research and understand what it is that I'm eating. That's what we're trying to kind of work into this journey. So again, the hardest part is that it's going to be unique and different for every single person. The good news is that it's unique and different for every single person. Think of the power in that, right? When we have a program that you and I can both find success in, and we don't have to do it the same way. We don't have to follow the same exact roadmap. We can get there different ways, but we both can arrive at the same destination, and that destination is goal. When we get there, it's a feeling unlike any other. And whether we stay there, whether we bounce back up, we have built that confidence. When you get to goal, when you step on the scale at one point, you say, I no longer want to lose any more weight. And you're there, and then you say, okay, Maybe you don't stay there because of, as the previous emails have indicated, but what's cool is you understand what's at stake. You understand you have the confidence to do it. You have the understanding that you can do this. It's finding that internal balance that balances your eating with your social calendar, with your work schedule, with your family schedule, balancing all that and getting it done. When you do that, it's absolutely time to celebrate. Folks, what is it that you're celebrating? Let's share it on the air. Go to fatdag.com, click on the Wise Advice Podcast, send in your celebrations, your comments, your questions. I'll work them in as part of the show. I want you to email in your celebrations. I want you to email in your questions because I really want you to be proud of what you're doing, and I want to help you get to wherever it is you're headed. You heard on this show, these journeys aren't perfect. There is nothing about this thing that is absolutely perfect for anybody. It's one of my favorite questions I ask people when they reach goal or reach a significant milestone. I say, were you perfect the whole time? I've yet to have someone say yes, absolutely, every single day. So knowing that, you give yourself the permission to fail a little bit, to experiment a little bit, to find what works for you that you can sustain this for a long time. But the one thing we do know is giving up doesn't work. Giving up reignites your why. Your why comes back stronger than ever, and you start again with a new start date. That's not what we're after. What we're after is you to completely change your life by completely changing your life. Folks, that's going to do it for this time. Remember now that losing weight and getting healthy has nothing to do with luck. You have to remain disciplined and focused. Set your sights on your goal and go after it. I wish you good focus. Thank you for listening to the Wise Advice Podcast. Did you know for as little as $1 a month, you can take the next step as a wingman and support the show? Visit fatdag.com, click on Become a Patron today.